What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is Moon Knight Season 1, Episode 3, The Friendly Type. So I definitely do have some questions, and not in the good way like I've been having so far this season. It's like, oh, I wonder what that's about. I have questions about this. Now, this one's more so like, it seems a little bit of an oversight. It seems like it's kind of a plot hole. Now, granted, maybe they'll explain it later, but whenever they go and they basically put Arthur on trial for what he's doing, basically, I'm not really sure I buy this whole thing where essentially he just comes in and he's like, oh, Khonshu's just lying, guys. Like, he's just a liar. Like, this is what he does. He's a liar. And they're just like, yeah, we buy that. We don't really like you, Khonshu. Don't get me wrong. I get the fact that they're trying to show this is how little trust the gods have in Khonshu, because apparently he is kind of a troublemaker and he's had issues before. But I feel like it would be really easy for them to just be like, yeah, the scarab that points to Amit's tomb, he has it. And why don't we just go to, the area where Amit's tomb is and show you all the people that are digging right now. And the fact that they're apparently not supposed to be meddling in human affairs, and yet we see he has like a huge following of people, and he's been killing people because Amit has judged them to be evil. I feel like this is stuff that would have caught their attention. And obviously, blocking the sun and changing the sky, those are big things that would be noticed very obviously. Killing people in the middle of nowhere, maybe they don't see that far. But I still feel like it's very weird that, I don't know, Khonshu and Mark, neither of them really brought up any of those points about the scarab, about all of his followers, and about the people he's been killing, and the fact that they didn't even bother to go check it out. I feel like it's a little, I don't know, I don't remember, I feel like I've looked this up before, but there's like an opposite of a Deus Ex Machina, where essentially things just work out a little too perfectly for the bad guys. Maybe it's a Deus Ex Machina for the bad side, but I don't like it whenever shows do this, where it should be very easy to beat the bad guys in this one scene or whatever, and the writers will just make it where something stupid happens or something very coincidental happens that stops the good guys from beating the bad guys, and then boom, there you go. Like, you still got a few more episodes to go because something stupid happened. I just feel like that's unless I'm wrong, unless I'm missing something, I feel like there are many ways they could have easily proven that Arthur is doing something wrong here. And it felt like it was too easy for the other gods to just be like, no, we don't believe you. Peace out. Aside from that, though, I did like seeing more Mark's point of view for this episode, because it's very interesting how in episode 1 it was all Steven, and then we got anytime it switched over to Mark, blacked out entirely, as we don't know what he was doing. But then we saw Mark in the mirror at the end, but we didn't ever see him take control of the body. Even we did get a little shot of Moon Knight like right at the end of the first episode. Second one, it's kind of a bit of both. You had Steven having control, but then we saw Mark take control for a little bit too. So it's kind of a little bit of both. And then in this one, it was mostly Mark. The scenes where Steven did take control up until the end, we saw Mark black out, and suddenly he wakes up and he's out of the fight. Except for one where he woke up and he has like the knife sticking in the guy's stomach, and Steven's like, that wasn't me. So I think, like I said in the first review, I'm pretty sure I was already spoiled that there's the third personality. I'm assuming we're going to find out that it's this third personality that's going around and actually killing people. Because, there was the one person that was shot in the back of the head. And if Mark was responsible for that, I feel like they would have had a tough time making him be a good guy and somebody we wanted to root for. So more than likely it's going to be this third personality that is actually kind of evil and wants to kill people. And I wonder how Khonshu reacts to that version. Like, I don't know. It would be kind of interesting to see them interacting, because I feel like this version of Mark and Steven would be a lot more susceptible, and Khonshu would be like, oh good, finally somebody that just does the job and gets it done and does it effectively, because he just kills anybody who deserves it. So I do hope, I think the fact that there have already been articles talking about this third personality. It means it's going to show up more than likely in this fourth episode, whoever it's supposed to be. So I do hope, though, that we get to see a little bit of the interactions between Khonshu and this third personality, because I feel like if they are the crazy killing psychopath that they seem to be based on what's been happening whenever they've, I guess, taken control, it's definitely got me curious to see how that relationship is handled. But yeah, as far as Layla is concerned, it's kind of... I really wonder how this would work. When you have somebody who has split personalities and they're essentially, two different people, given the circumstances, what would it be like, Layla, who apparently fell in love with Mark, and, they did grow apart because eventually Mark was keeping secrets and he wasn't telling her stuff. And so they did kind of grow apart, and there's still that sense of connection, but not as strong as it used to be. And it definitely seems like at the end, she was kind of like, oh, Steven, you're very intelligent, you're well-spoken. I don't know if that was supposed to be like a smile, like when she was looking and smiling at him. I don't know if that was supposed to be like she's attracted to him. It kind of makes sense because it's not like his looks are any different, but it definitely seemed like she took a liking to him talking about Egyptian history, because she seems to also love Egyptian history. So it's like, what would that be like if you fell in love with a guy, you found out he has split personality disorder, and then you've also fallen in love with his other personality? I feel like that would be kind of weird. And if she does love Steven, if she is attracted to him, is that technically cheating on Mark? Because it's still Mark's body, but it's just somebody, it's a different personality in the same body. Like, what would that... This raises a lot of questions. And now I feel like somebody, probably has already been written, but I feel like somebody should write a story about a person who falls in love with someone, finds out they have a split personality, and then falls in love with another personality of that same person. It would be really trippy and really weird, but kind of interesting. But yeah, as far as everything with the plot is concerned, it does feel a little slow moving, just because Arthur gets the scarab at the end of the last episode. He finds the spot where the supposedly Amit's tomb is supposed to be, and then starts digging. By the end of it, still digging, I guess. And I don't know how he manages. I guess he does have people following Mark and Layla to be sure he knows what they're doing and how they're trying to stop him. But it seems very coincidental that he keeps popping up exactly when he needs to get this one guy to not trust them, although he already didn't. So I don't really understand what him showing up there did, because in reality they were about to die, and then he shows up and it gives Mark a chance to turn into Moon Knight and save the day. If he hadn't showed up, I'm sure Mark still would have turned into Moon Knight and tried to save the day, but I really don't know what him showing up did and what it changed, because all he did was show this guy that they were trying to basically swindle to get a chance to look at the star constellation stuff in the sarcophagus. They were trying to swindle him so he could get a look at it and solve the puzzle to find Amit's tomb this way. But then the guy stops them because he doesn't buy their story. And then Arthur shows up, and then he destroys the tomb with the thing, but they still manage to get the pieces of it and put it together. I don't know, it just seemed like a little bit of a waste of time. I don't know, because he ends up dying. Moon Knight kills him in the end. So I feel like it sort of just wasted our time a bit. And if that's the case, then kind of leaning towards this should have been a movie. Because if you got to spend whole episodes where we take these little detours for about 20, 30 minutes that don't really lead anywhere, that means you don't really have enough story to last 6 episodes of a TV show. So maybe you should have condensed it down to a movie and let that be the thing. I'm sure probably part of the thinking was, oh, well, it's Moon Knight. Not a lot of people are going to go to theaters to watch Moon Knight. But you got to realize, how many people went and saw Guardians of the Galaxy? And nobody, except for diehard Marvel comic fans, knew who Guardians of the Galaxy was. And look at how well that did. So I don't really understand that thought process, if that was the thinking. So all I can think is they just... I I really don't know. I don't know why they wouldn't turn this into a movie, because I feel like it would be a lot better as a movie. It seems like we're 3 episodes in and there's been a lot of plot and there have been some interesting discussions, but there's also been some downtime where it feels like it could have been cut down a bit, and I don't know. We'll see how it ends. Maybe the next 3 episodes will be packed full of information and things happening. So I'll look at that and be like, okay, I can see now why it wasn't a movie. But for right now, I feel like this 3rd episode was a little bit of just kind of sitting around. A couple of discussions had that were important and engaging, but then there were a lot of times where I'm kind of sitting here going, okay, can we move on? What's this leading to? It didn't lead to anything. Okay, well, can we move on to the next scene, please? So, but yeah, that's about it for this episode. On to the next one. See you there. And now episode 4, The Tomb. So, this took a weird turn. It's very Legion-esque, the way this one ended. And, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to think about all of that. I mean, I know, obviously, this seems to be not reality. My first thought was like, they wouldn't really do this twist. Are they really doing this twist? They couldn't. There's no way. They wouldn't spend that much backstory time on, like, figuring out Layla's father and everything that happened with him just to be like, actually, none of it mattered because it was all in his head. I figured they wouldn't be doing that. So, yeah, whenever he finds his other, whenever Mark finds Steven, I'm like, okay, so this is all, I don't know, like, it's some weird, probably mental prison, possibly? I don't know. And I really don't, because the thing was, with Legion, there was a point where it seemed like everybody was just in a psych ward somewhere. And I was like, wait, what? But it made sense for that show because the main character, he's all about using his psychic abilities. And so being trapped in a psychic prison actually makes a lot of sense. For this show, we've not seen anything like that. I guess, technically, the gods do speak to their avatars with psychic abilities in a way. So, I don't know. I don't know what to think about all of it, but apparently the articles that I've been seeing about the third personality have been more rumors or theories, which, I mean, makes a lot of sense because there are times whenever both of them have no clue what just happened. Somebody dies, somebody gets killed around them, and they're just like, that wasn't me. Well, that wasn't me. So I think it makes sense that there's a third one. And on top of that, there was a third sarcophagus that they didn't open that was like rattling and shaking very violently. So I'm guessing that's probably going to be a third personality. Still really wish we met this third personality sooner because I feel like this is going to be an interesting topic of conversation to have a third version of himself that's much more violent and willing to kill, working alongside a god who is very much hey, I want to basically deal out justice in the worst possible way. So I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I didn't expect them to not break out. God, why have I already forgotten his name? Wow, it's really bad whenever you forget one of the characters because they didn't appear in one episode. So it's Kansu. I'm going to have to cut that out because I went to IMDb and it was not on IMDb. I figured they would have like the voice actor, unless it's Oscar Isaac doing the voice as well. In which case it should still show up on his name, but whatever. Took me too long to figure it out. But yeah, Kansu. I didn't expect them to not go rescue him and get him back in this episode, just because it feels like you have so much, I don't know, you have so little time to finish up the story. You've got 3 episodes left after Kansu gets taken away. I didn't think they'd spend a whole episode and more now, because he's not going to be around for the 5th one either. That just seems a little too long to not have whoever is giving them the Moon Knight powers. It seems odd to take that Moon Knight out of it for so long in this series. So I don't know. Because in the movie, it would have been like, if it were a movie, it would have been maybe about 30 minutes of the movie he doesn't have his powers because, my goodness, I'm terrible. Kansu, he would have been out of the movie for maybe 30 minutes of it. and that would have been a decent amount of time for a movie, but to have a whole episode just without him, without the Moon Knight powers, and we're gonna continue on that in the next one, it just seems a little too long to me. However, there are some interesting aspects with this. First of all, the zombies. They're undead temple guards. I don't know if we're gonna get an explanation for that. Seems a little random, but also intriguing if they have a good explanation as to why there are undead guards in these tombs. Because it just seemed very random and out of nowhere. All of a sudden, like these people are being killed and their hearts are being taken out and stored in jars. Just like, okay, this is a thing. I guess this is a thing now. They don't explain anything in this episode, so I hope they do have an explanation as to why this is happening. Because if they don't, then that would just be extremely random to have. You're like, oh, undead. Boom. There they are. Okay. But no, everything to do with Layla's father, though, it is got me interested to find out more. Just because, he talks, Mark talks about how it was apparently a partner of his that turned on them because he got greedy. I was kind of wondering, because I have in my mind that there's this third personality that's a killer, I was kind of wondering if it was going to be something where essentially it was the third personality that did it and Mark didn't realize it, and so he assumed it was his partner. I don't know if that's where they're going to go with it, but it seems like that's what they're implying. I don't know. I am curious to see, but with that in mind, that's also the night, where apparently Kansu did give Mark his abilities because his partner also shot him and he was supposed to die. And Kansu, I guess, revived him and brought him back to life and gave him the powers. So, yeah, I don't know. It's definitely raised a lot of questions, though, as to what else could have happened. Because it seems like there's still a lot of vagueness about when her father died. And I don't know if he was supposed to be the one that the disciples that ended up taking Stephen in episode 2, I think it was. I don't know if this is the person they were talking about that had their hands zip tied and they're shot. Was it the back of the head or the front of the head? I don't remember now. But I don't know if this is supposed to be that person, her father, or if that was a completely different incident. But yeah, it raises questions that I want answers to now. So I'm definitely on board. I'm wanting to see more. This final scene in this mental hospital, don't have any inkling of what it could possibly be. I mean, the fact that there's a hippo here, I don't know. I'm guessing maybe somehow Kansu gave him some sort of last ditch ability where if he gets shot, he can, I don't know, find his way back. I don't know. Maybe because they did get the statue of Amit, so maybe somehow she's trying to rescue them, which would seem a little weird since she seems to be not a good person, or, well, good God. But it could be that she's actually fine. It's more Arthur that's the problem. Like, he's taking it a little too far, like what her ideas are. Maybe she's a little bit more level-headed than he is. I don't know. It's just I'm definitely a little thrown off by the ending, though, and I don't know what to think about a lot of it. Because excuse me, it seems odd that they went to such lengths to convince us that this was real, that he was actually just living out all these fantasies in his head. I mean, you have so many references that are like, oh, he could have seen this and put it in his story, and he could have seen this and put it in his story. But then they just throw it all out the window because they show clearly, when Mark meets Steven, and then they see the hippo doctor, or whatever it's supposed to be, that kind of confirms that, okay, this isn't real then. This is not reality. And I feel like it's kind of weird that they brought up this idea and they spent so long on trying to convince us that maybe this could be real, just to throw it all away at the end of the episode. I feel like it would have been more interesting if they ended the episode where it seems like he's like, well, crap, wait, I thought you just shot me, and the doctor's like, no, I mean, this is your reality. You're having a mental break. And everybody's just like, wait, what? What the hell? No, that's no. And you have a week to sit on it. But maybe they just expected too many people would be pissed at the idea that this is all in his head. That they were just like, you know what? No, people aren't going to think that we're actually doing this. So let's just go ahead, just show that this is not reality by the end of it. So that way people aren't theorizing and questioning our abilities as writers. But yeah, I mean, all in all, it's a good episode. I do think it was a little long at times. That was something I didn't really talk about, but there were some scenes that I feel like they dragged on a little too long. The one where Layla was fighting off the undead guard definitely seemed like it took a long time. Because after she ran away from the first one and Steven crushed him, she has like this long scene where she's narrowly getting across this little ledge. Then she gets over there, and then she gets dragged back into the darkness. Then she gets out and dragged back in again, quiet. And then she falls out, and then she's fighting, dodging, and then flare into his head, throws him off with herself. And then she grabs onto the leg. I'm just like, okay, this is taking forever to get through this one scene. You're making it very obvious that you didn't have enough story to fill up 6 episodes. Every time you hold on scenes like this, or every time you stretch out scenes like this, it just makes me feel like you're confirming, yeah, we probably could have cut this down a little bit, but it was supposed to be a show, so here's an extra long fight scene that probably could have been done a lot quicker. And I don't know, I'm not a fan of that, but it's still good overall. It's still enjoyable. It's still fun. Still intriguing. That part of it is still, it's just not quite what I want to see. So, but all in all, I'm excited. So next week, because I'm currently caught up, so next week I'll get back into it and watch 5. Well, actually, I think I'm going to wait for 6 and watch 5 and 6 together. Make it a lot easier on myself. But yeah, I'm looking forward to see what they're going to end it with. And hopefully the ending will be better than the other Marvel shows. But with all that being said, that's it for these 2 episodes. So let me know what you think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on these 2 episodes? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe, future Moon Knight reviews, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.